What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mellow Buzz. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm your host, Mike P., and thank you for taking the time to see what the Mellow Buzz is all about and to join me on my journey of musical discovery. And to all the returning Mellow Heads, thank you for coming back for the continuation of my journey. Last week, we took a look at Chicago West Side sound musician Magic Sam and his electrified blues styling. This week's episode, we'll take a look at one of the pioneering blues women to hit the scene, Memphis Minnie. She changed the blues scene multiple times throughout her career and left a legacy like no other. Elizabeth Lizzie Douglas was born June 3rd, 1897, to Abe and Gertrude Douglas. Now, there's conflicting census data that puts her birthplace as either Louisiana or Mississippi. She was the eldest of 13 siblings and received her first nickname of Kid at a very young age and was called that throughout her childhood. At the age of 7, the family moved to Walls, Mississippi, 30 miles south of Memphis, Tennessee. The following Christmas, at the age of 8, Lizzie received her first guitar. Being a child of sharecroppers, she was required to help on the farm, and hard labor didn't sit too well. She ran away from home often, playing her guitar on the street corners to make money. And in 1910, at the age of 13, Lizzie ran away from home for the last time. Living on Beale Street in Memphis, going by the name of Kid Douglas, she would play her guitar to make ends meet, returning home on occasion when the money ran out. In 1915, she partnered with Willie Brown in Bedford, Mississippi. Here, they would play on ferry boats traveling around Lake Cormorant, entertaining affluent white passengers playing for tips. She was able to parlay her street playing into a tour with Ringling Brothers Circus from 1916 to 1920. Here, she perfected a show performance. This, along with her time playing the streets, gave her a reputation of being a tough, no-nonsense kind of woman. And being a woman of color, she would need to be entering what was a man's world of being a blues musician. In 1920, Lizzie married Willie Brown. And shortly after, in the early 20s, they divorced, and she moved to Memphis. Here, she played on the streets with Jed Davenport's Beale Street Jug Band. And on June 1st, 1929, Lizzie married Joe McCoy, another blues guitarist. They would be discovered by a scout from Columbia Records playing out front of a Beale Street barbershop. They were flown to New York City for their first recording session. This recording session took place on June 18, 1929. They recorded 8 songs, including When the Levee Breaks, a song popularized by the 70s rock band Led Zeppelin, and Bumblebee, though not released by Columbia. It was one of her favorite songs, and she went on to record it for multiple labels. An AR rep with Columbia gave Lizzie her nickname of Memphis Minnie, as well as Joe's nickname of Kansas Joe. Minnie, as she is now professionally known, is also credited in revolutionizing the blues by being the first to use a metal body National Resonator guitar. In 1930, Minnie and Joe signed with Vocal Lion and re-recorded and released Bumblebee. They stayed with Vocal Lion until 1934, recording 30-plus songs. By this time, they were living in Chicago. They were playing in clubs all over Chicago. And being that Minnie was a woman, she had to prove herself often. Famously, in 1933, Big Bill Brunzi, a very popular Chicago musician, challenged Minnie to a contest. The prize was a bottle of gin and a bottle of whiskey, and legend has it that Minnie won the contest. And Minnie and Bill became good friends, playing together both locally and on the road. In 1935, Minnie and Joe divorced. In the same year, Lester Melrose signed Minnie. Lester worked with multiple record labels. During Minnie's time with Lester, she recorded 6 singles for Bluebird, including 2 with her former husband, Willie, now professionally known as Casey Bill Weldon. She also recorded 20 songs for the Decca label. And in 1938, Minnie went back to Vocal Lion exclusively, accompanied by Charlie McCoy, her ex-husband's brother. In total, between 1935 and 1938, Minnie released another 50-plus songs for Vocal Lion. In 1939, Minnie married another blues guitarist, Ernest Lawlers, professionally known as Little Son Joe. In 1940, both Minnie and Little Son started to record with OK Records. In 1941, Minnie again revolutionized the blues and is credited with being one of the first to play the electric guitar. They recorded her biggest hit in May of 1941, Me and My Chauffeur Blues. In December of 1941, they recorded Looking the World Over and Black Rat Swing, two more very popular songs. During the early 40s, Minnie and Joe would perform at many clubs throughout Chicago, calling the 708 Club home. Here they would play with Big Bill Broonzy, Sunnyland Slim, or Snooky Pryor. Minnie would also play Ruby Lee Gatewood's Blue Monday parties. In the mid to late 40s, Minnie and Joe would record 10 or more songs for Columbia. At the same time, the blues scene was starting to diminish, and the clubs would hire younger, cheaper artists. This also led to Columbia dropping the duo from the label. Minnie's final recording session would be with Regal Records in 1949. By this time, both her and Joe's health had been on the decline and could be heard in the recordings, which led to them never getting released. In the 50s, Minnie and Joe would perform anywhere they could. And in 1957, with their health failing, they moved back to Memphis. Their last performance was 1958 at a tribute concert for Big Bill Broonzy. Sadly, in 1960, Minnie suffered a stroke that left her confined to a wheelchair, and in 1961, Joe died. After Joe's death, Minnie spent her remaining years in the jail nursing home located in Memphis. And after suffering another stroke, Minnie died August 6, 1973. She was laid to rest at the New Hope Baptist Church in Walls, Mississippi. At the time, her family couldn't afford a headstone, and it wasn't until October 13, 1996, that one was placed. It was paid for by modern-day blues musician Bonnie Raitt, and it was erected by the Mount Zion Memorial Fund. Sadly, dying penniless due to being a person of color and the lack of proper representation during contract negotiations seems to be a recurring theme with these pioneering blues musicians. A link to Mount Zion Memorial Fund can be found in this video's description, and if you can, please donate. Now, let's sit back and listen to that revolutionary song, Me and My Chauffeur Blues. Oh, that was Memphis Minnie and Little Son Joe, me and my chauffeur. It was interesting to see how she incorporated the electric guitar into that. You could hear the twangs, you could hear the note bends, and her voice was gruffled, soulful. You could tell she was talking about a man. Could hear a little bit of jealousy in there too. This has been another interesting leg of my journey. Each week so far, it's been something different, and I got to say, I'm really enjoying it. Really wish that I would have heard this at a younger age, and it would have been a bigger part of my life. But at least I'm getting to hear it now. So thank you for coming on this part of the journey with me. Please, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, and everybody that's watching this, please hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If I can make improvements, that'd be great. And everybody, please take care. And this is the Mellow Buzz. Thank you.